Alrighty, I have a construction update for you guys today. So super exciting news. They ran Blue Train a total of 5 times today on Thursday, June 19th. So that was really awesome to see. Finally seeing Blue Train fully cycle from station to brake run. And it's hauling. Like, this coaster is starting to pick up max speed. And after talking to someone, we're hearing that this is not even at max speed yet. So this is at 75% power. So that's crazy if it could get any faster, because this thing has got some serious speed, and it is definitely living up to the hype that Premier had talked about at our interview at IAPA. So that whole conversation where they told us that the pacing was going to maintain itself throughout the entire layout, that is definitely been proven right. So that's really great news, because that was the one thing that was holding this coaster back in terms of, okay, if the pacing sucks, then it's not going to be that great of a coaster. But if the pacing's good, then it's got everything checked off. And gonna be completely honest, this has got everything checked off. The pacing's great. The layout is absolutely stellar. And it honestly looks good. Like, when you're on Leviathan's brake run, guys, look over at AlpenFury when you're on Leviathan's brake run, and this coaster is impressive. I rode Leviathan a lot tonight, and just got, you get a chance to look at AlpenFury. And it looks great. This coaster's got some seriously good angles for filming and taking photos of it. So very exciting stuff, super excited. But let's get into the construction update. That's what you guys are here for. So as you see here on the screen, there are these little attachments on AlpenFury, and you'll start to see some more around the park. These are for the netting. So netting is going to be added. So get your photos and videos in now before the netting gets in the way of those amazing photos. The lockout fencing is being installed along the ride. A little more needs to be installed as well. But the lockout fencing and lockout fencing signage has been put up. Again, there should be some netting installed there. There's this garage door for the launch area. So this was closed when we went earlier in the day, but it was open later in the day after testing had commenced. So they've been adding actual doors and closing things off. They've started to paint the rockwork around the mountain. That red goes on, and then they paint on top of that red. So that is not the final color, don't worry. Outside of that, this new evac doorway has been installed. So there's a doorway there. This is definitely entrance for maintenance to enter the launch tunnel. So I assume this is for if the ride, stops inside the mountain and they need to evac guests. That would be a place that they come out from. Outside of that, the work in AlpenFury Station is coming along nicely. So escrow welding was there, welding the handrails onto the queue line entrance. Work on the actual queue line itself was taking place indoors and outdoors. The decorative fencing has been placed on the staircase. Again, it reminds me of Clockworks' fencing as well. So that's really good. Lighting has been added for the outdoor queue portion there. And just a lot of station work. So adding a lot of those exterior wood panels and painting them brown. There's escrow welding. And yeah, so whenever that lockout fencing you see up there goes up and you see people in the op booth, I would assume that, they're going to be testing the ride. You're going to start to see testing occur a lot more before the park gets ready to take AlpenFury in full force. So again, Premier is just finishing up a little bit of their, we'll call it commissioning, and then they'll hand it off to Wonderland. Based off of what I'm seeing, I fully suspect Wonderland to have full ownership of AlpenFury in the next couple of days. And when that happens, you will see continuous testing, a lot of testing. And whether they're going to do that while the park is open or at night, that is yet to be determined. But knowing how Cedar Fair likes to do things, I would fully suspect them to do testing after park close. So we'll keep you guys posted. But I fully suspect that AlpenFury will be running at night. after park close. As you can see here, a lot of work going on inside of AlpenFury Station. A lot of the fencing has been dropped off in this area underneath the Extreme Skyflyer loop. So fencing will go up there for the lockout gates back here. It looks like the photo booth the photo op is going to take place right there. On the pull in to the Extreme Skyflyer loop. And not the pull out. So it looks right there where that wooden pole, similar to Yukon Striker, that's where the photo op will go. And yeah, so I don't know if they're going to lay down bricks to bring us over there. I don't think so, as there's been some things added there, that little metal holders to hold some electrical boxes, and it looks like that's for like the event space. So I have a feeling that this is as far as the brickwork is going to go. Here is a building. I am showing this for a future video, so I just want you to keep in mind this area, as well as Action Zone. So just keep in mind, guys, this area and that video. It's going to be very important for future updates. Here is what looks like an AlpenFury or AlpenFest themed game. It looks like they're going to bring back the old style game where you throw darts at balloons, so that's exciting. Bringing back kind of like games that represent an older themed area, so that's super exciting. See a lot of those kind of games at not arcades, circuses, and what do you call it, like the exhibition is the right word, I think. Sorry, I'm still recovering from my vacation. Super tired because I did spend the day at Wonderland today. The station does look almost fully complete, just finishing up the final touches with the air gates and the queue gates. The merch store is adding all its kind of shelving units and theming. Look, the Coca-Cola machine, fridges already in there. So that's coming along nicely. Everything is just in the final finishing stages. You're going to see this come to life very quickly. A lot of the foliage has been planted in the area. So a lot of the work that's just left to be completed is the inside queue house for AlpenFury, as well as that little photo booth building. And yeah, so a very quick work left to finish. I fully suspect AlpenFury to be open no later than July 4th, but open as early as sometime next week. So stay tuned, because we are down to the final, what I would assume is 2 weeks about, until AlpenFury is fully open at Canada's Wonderland. And for those of you that might be interested, we are hosting an event on July 8th from 7 a.m. check-in time, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on exclusive ride time of AlpenFury and Leviathan. So we've rented out AlpenFury and Leviathan from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. for you on July 8th for anyone that wants to attend. I'll post the link down below. And yeah, so that's going to be super exciting. That's our first event, and it'll be right around the opening of AlpenFury, so that's even more exciting. So if you want to buy tickets to that, link down below. We are capping the attendance at 200 now for just our first event, so we're not overloading ourselves with our first toes in the water experience, and we're just going to cap it at 200, and we're going to see how it goes. Then we have our big events in September. But yes, we're going to post the July 8th date down below. Get your tickets. It is capped at 200, so once it sells out, it sells out. And yeah, so inside the mountain, there was a lot of programming. That is essentially what's going on. A lot of this rock work has been added around the entrance into AlpenFury's main launch. Yeah, so this electrical thing, map and advertisement, electronic billboard essentially, has been added in the AlpenFury area. Here is that mural that is on the turn out of the station. The block zones of AlpenFury is quite impressive. It's gonna be really awesome to see how the ride operates. And yeah, so a lot of the paint finishing touches have been added, and Wonderland's just working on quickly wrapping up the station area, so not too much to talk about in terms of that. It's a very repetitive topic now. The lighting and sound systems have been added around AlpenFury. I am fully suspecting themed music, but we'll have to see if Wonderland did fully commit to that. But based off of what I'm seeing, there's a chance that we could see themed music in this area. So that would be really awesome, and I really hope the park did go down that route. I would be pretty disappointed if they didn't. I am getting really sick and tired of hearing pop music and just like your everyday music in places like Medfair and Frontier Canada, and I think AlpenFest would be the perfect time to start exploring themed music in your themed sections. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone. Fingers crossed that Wonderland has chosen to go down the themed music route. Inside the launch tunnel, they are programming. So essentially just what I was trying to talk about earlier, what you are seeing over the past couple of days and what you're going to see continuing until Sunday night is Premiere is just programming. Everything needs to be programmed, reprogrammed, programmed again, double-check programmed, and that is what's happening. So essentially all these cycles you are seeing, they are just programming all the buttons on the ride, the what to do if this happens, what will happen if that happens, the transfer track, for each train, the speeds, everything. So once Premiere is done programming and they have the okay and they feel okay, they will hand the ride over to Wonderland, which I suspect to happen either Saturday or Sunday this week. And then Wonderland will have full control of AlpenFury, and you'll see a lot of testing. And then the ride will open. So we are in the final steps to AlpenFury. Literally the final steps to AlpenFury. And it's going to be so great. So as you see here, this is them welding the handrails on to the staircase for AlpenFury, down to the final little touches of that queue line. Here is inside the mountain with the theming. I want to talk about that because we are seeing evidence that the back end of the tunnel is fully somewhat more enclosed than you see here at the beginning. So that's some exciting news. And we saw painters heading into the mountain at the end of the day today, a whole group of them. So very excited to see what they're going to do in there and if they're going to paint that tunnel black or what they're going to do. But very exciting. We are down to the final steps, guys. So stay tuned for more updates tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.